What's going on?
Hi, besties.
Monday Night Besties, we back at it. Amanda, we're back at it again each and every
Yes.
Monday night. Before we get started, definitely hit that slamchats.com. We appreciate you. Definitely support because we work hard each and every Monday night, putting in this extra 45 minutes to an hour for you after a 3 hour Raw. So hook us up,
Yeah.
slamchats.com. Plus, there's other very talented people that host shows on this channel as well. I know NXT Friday nights. Know Your Role. There's AEW shows. There's all kind of shows. So support everyone. Slamchats.com. Amanda, the besties want to know how you're doing this week. How's everything?
I'm keeping on. Thank you for asking.
That's like
Yeah.
that's like the new way to live, right? Keeping
Yeah.
on
Making it happen.
each and every
Yeah,
day.
for
That's the best way to live. It felt like Raw was doing that this week.
Yeah.
It felt like they were trying their hardest to
It's a
garner
full
some
moon for
interest.
everybody.
We got a lot to talk about, but definitely send all those comments in. We're streaming live Facebook, uh, Twitter, X, Instagram, I think,
Yeah.
Twitch, YouTube. So keep those comments rolling in all show long. Appreciate everybody for joining as always. What up, Jeffrey?
Yeah, Jeffrey.
What's going
Thanks,
on?
bestie. It's always holding it down, Jeffrey. I appreciate your support.
That's
That's
right.
a day one bestie right
That's day
there.
one. Even the intro show that wasn't even supposed to be a show.
Yes.
Day one. So we got a lot to talk about, but I think, you know what, let's start. So this is a different week for us because, we didn't really have a main event really
Yeah.
on this week's Raw. So like, let's talk about what happened at the end of Raw. Very weird ending with Cody Rhodes and Paul Heyman and Shield 2.0, whatever that was supposed to be at the end of Raw. What'd you think of the ending of Raw?
I kind of got confused if perhaps there was like a little bit of time to fill.
Mm-hmm.
Because he was just sort of like Paul Heyman came out, but then it took a very like a Roman Reigns entrance length of time for him to get to the ring and kind of get to the point. And I just wonder if there was something from like a production standpoint that was a necessity, or if that was just planned to be like that long of a time. You know what's interesting though is that their energy didn't really match. Like I felt like Cody tried to, I think, was quite passionate and quite impressive, right? But then also it was just kind of there's a little bit of a different ending, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
That I might call the least best ending that we've seen since we've been doing Monday Night Besties.
It was so weird. Like I was expecting something, like, and obviously
Yeah,
Cody. I guess that's what they're aiming for this time, though. Like, look, like because Cody Rhodes, you seen him, he kept turning around and looking everywhere. So obviously he's aware that anyone could be behind him, which what
right.
I was expecting. I was expecting Solo. I wasn't expecting Jimmy, but I was expecting Solo or even possibly The Rock, even possibly
Sure.
going in the ring behind them and attacking them. That's what I was expecting, especially when I seen that there was
Something.
still like 10 minutes left in the show when they started
Yeah.
that stuff. So like I was like, all right, there's still kind of a lot of time left, so something's gonna happen. And then they just talk for 10 minutes, and it was like, okay. While I appreciate that they're furthering the story and trying a new angle where Cody looks more ready, and
Right.
this isn't the first time around, he's more prepared this time. I
Mm-hmm.
still think that ending was just really weird. Like I was just waiting, and part of this just because we're so spoiled. I guess the way things have been happening, so much has been happening quickly, and we've been the ones preaching, "Hey, let's try to scale it back a little bit and tell a story," but so we can't have our cake and eat it too. So I guess we gotta play the waiting game in this and see how things progress. But I just felt like the ending was just like I don't know exactly what do you think they were trying to do with the ending other than just furthering the story and saying that Cody's different this time.
I mean, I think the purpose may have been to like flip into now kind of the piece that Cody said at the end of like, I'm not being hunted by the bloodline, like I'm
Yeah.
hunting the bloodline. So I could understand where perhaps that was the intention of the kind of, yeah, okay, yes, Twitch, indeed. That
That's
is
right.
cool. Yes, that's great. Instead of cake, we got a nice muffin. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
like, there's a little bit going on there. I
I kind
think
of felt like it was a half-eaten muffin. Like one of my kids got into it before I got it. It was like the
or
last
like
one, and
there's
like
always there was
I
always
had to
someone
ask like who ate part of my muffin. Like
there's
I don't
always
know.
someone
I
on
don't
a
even think it was a
diet
whole
at the
muffin.
nurse station, and they'd cut the donuts and the muffins in half, and then
Yeah,
there'd just be these like weird half chunks of everything everywhere. And you're like, who did that? Like, where? Just eat a donut or don't. Yeah. So today, I think we perhaps, depending on how much you enjoyed the segment, anywhere on a spectrum of muffin to half-eaten child's picked through with their dirty fingers from preschool pastry. And I think sometimes perhaps we are spoiled. I mean, maybe that's kind of
mm-hmm.
just what it is. I do think from a narrative perspective, I get what the purpose of the segment was, and I do think it landed. So
Mm-hmm.
just whether or not, like, was there ever a moment of question that Cody couldn't take all three of those guys?
Mm.
Like, I didn't really feel so. It just felt kind of like, what is the point of this? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It
Cody
did
beats
fall
up
a little
three
flat.
nobodies dressed up like the Shield.
It
Like
did fall. It did fall a little flat, but I suppose if the intention is to have like Cody did look strong.
Yeah, let me be careful. I could be talking trash about one of those guys
Anyway.
that could be a future world champion one day, and I'm sitting here talking about them being a fake Shield, and they could be professional wrestlers that we just don't know yet.
See,
Like,
I don't. Yeah, I don't actually know, but
yeah, so
you
I
never
better be
know.
careful because at one point the Shield was just some
Man,
goofy looking guys. So let me be
that's
careful.
true.
So let
Trick
me be
Williams
careful.
used to be a guy who hung out with Apollo Crews. I didn't
Yeah.
know it was.
See.
Didn't know it was Trick Willie the whole time. Just right in front of my face.
But what I did enjoy with Raw tonight is, and honestly, Elimination Chamber carrying over, is the women stealing the show. I mean, once
Yes.
again, Elimination Chamber, they stole the show. And I think once
True.
again, the women steal Monday Night Raw. You start off with Dirty Dom in the ring, getting the crowd all worked up, and they go from boo to yay really quick. I've never seen a crowd switch so quickly. But Rhea comes out and, talks about her big win over Nia Jax, and then Becky comes out. They start teasing for that. I mean, first of all, like you haven't even got a chance to talk about that recap. I'm sure you got a chance to check out Elimination Chamber. What did you think of the way the women fared in the Elimination Chamber and Raw tonight? For the
It was
beginning,
such a great match. It was for sure. The Elimination Chamber match was really quite spectacular. I thought it was one of my favorite. I hesitate to say stuff like all time, especially when it's not something that has like this enormous history.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was one of the better. It's one that I think will stand out and continue to live. Like, it's an evergreen portrait of what the women's division is capable of right now. So I think that's pretty sweet. I'm not sure how I feel about Nia Jax continuing involvement. I mean, I guess you have to get from point A to point B.
Mm-hmm.
40 days is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So I can understand where you don't necessarily want to just see in-ring back and forth exchanges between Becky and Rhea for the next 40 days. So you kind of have to have somebody else in there making things lively. Yeah, and then there's also the sub feud there thrown in. I mean, well, I would love to know your thoughts about the sort of backstage interaction between Liv Morgan and Becky Lynch, because that's also another interesting piece to the puzzle. And sort of, I always find it fascinating when any character, I feel like, on screen is echoing like the voice of the people, right? When they're saying something that has been brought up by fans. And it seemed like I haven't been on Twitter a ton lately, like, so I don't really know exactly the social media buzz, but it did seem like there was some kind of backlash and that people are being nasty. And my understanding is that it mostly was towards Becky. Is that accurate?
Yeah. So,
Was
admittedly,
it just
I've been
Liv fans, or it was just like everybody? I didn't understand.
Yeah, the whole backstage incident, well, not really incident, but altercation between Becky and Liv just proves once again that Triple H and WWE, the people that work with WWE, follow everything that we say online. They follow all the fans. They follow all the IWC. They see everything. They know everything. And people were pretty upset. people were pretty upset that Becky won Elimination Chamber, which I don't understand.
Yeah,
Wow. I mean,
yeah, I
look,
did.
like I think I've said on here before that Becky Lynch isn't the greatest for me. Like, I just I know that she is at, if not the biggest babyface woman superstar right now, at least close. Because I think
Hmm.
Rhea Ripley is a babyface now, so
Right.
I think she gets that claim.
Hmm.
But Becky Lynch, I mean, you got to go. It's WrestleMania. You got to go with what's big. And Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley, that's big. That's big money. That speaks big match to me. I mean, you can't go any bigger than that. All due respect to everyone else in that match. I love Tiffany Stratton.
Hmm.
Um, I, I like Liv Morgan, right?
Yeah,
I love Bianca Belair. I mean, there's a lot
yeah,
of talent in that match. Raquel Rodriguez, and there's a lot of talent that was in that match. But like at the end of the day, you got to go with what's big, and you got to go big money. It's WrestleMania. This isn't just WWE Payback, or it's not one of those pay per views. It's a huge pay per view, and literally the biggest in the entire wrestling world. Like you got to go
right,
big. There's going to be people there from all kind of walks of life, and you got to put out the best product. You got to have the best matches. So people just need to relax. It's really not that deep.
yeah.
But
Don't be
people were
nasty.
going, they were saying some crazy stuff, like saying that she didn't deserve it, and they're calling her like the new Charlotte Flair, getting title shots just because. And it's like, I
I
mean,
don't even like
do
that.
people forget what she did last year? Like,
Yeah,
she hasn't had a
no,
title in 2 years. First of all, it's been 2 years since Becky Lynch has had a title. So whether you like her or not, that's a long time for a star of her caliber not to have a title, a
yeah,
world title. She did have the NXT
yeah,
and the tag team titles with Lita. But since she's been Raw or SmackDown champion, it's been 2 years. So last
yeah.
year she won the NXT Women's Championship to build up Tiffany Stratton. That was why
Hmm.
she won the belt to begin with. It was all to
Yeah,
build her up and build Lyra Valkyria up, because she lost to her obviously to lose the belt.
massively too. By the way, that's not
Yeah,
our business. That's not our area of town. But
true.
Lyra Valkyrie has extremely been everything about that character and everything about her championship reign was genuinely launched by her interactions with Becky Lynch, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Because that character before was a little two dimensional, and now that's a fully formed person that you want to root for, and that their move set, and it's
Mm-hmm.
like that's a person to us now, and that's a great testament to Becky. That's what feuds are meant to do, and I think giving back in that way to
Mm-hmm.
then kind of catch that flack feels
It's
just like we're
crazy.
just
It's like
like
everyone
that's
forgot what she
weird.
had to go through. And like, let's not forget, and why I think she's in the storyline, to kind of answer your question about
Mhm.
Nia Jax being involved. Let's not
Yeah,
forget, Becky Lynch lost to her.
that's
Like,
true.
Becky wasn't even able to beat her since she's been back. So, like, she's
That's
still got
true.
some unfinished business with her. So, I
That's
think
very
that's why
true.
Nia Jax is still in the picture, at least to try to. She's going to have to put that to bed over the next 40 days, obviously, leading up to
Mhm.
WrestleMania. But what people are saying online is there should be a triple threat: Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and Becky Lynch. So after that,
Mhm.
what happened tonight with what Liv Morgan said to Becky backstage, I think they're listening to the wrestling community, and it could be them testing the waters to see how people would react to a potential triple threat. The same thing they did with The
Mhm.
Rock and Roman when they announced that that was the match. They're testing the waters to see how deep it is. They're seeing how people will react, and I think they'll make the decision based on how people react. So we may get a triple threat
Hmm.
for Rhea's belt, the women's world title at WrestleMania. How do you feel about that? Do you think that kind of takes away from Becky's win, or what do you think?
I think that would. I don't like it if titles change that way
Mm-hmm.
because I'm one of those people that gets very annoyed if people lose their title without being pinned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know why that is somehow the like the suspension of disbelief barrier for me where I go like, oh, I don't like that. Like I'm pulled out of my moment because I don't think that's righteous and fair, even though there's like a kendo stick over someone's head. You know what I mean? Like this is not normal or righteous or fair environment. But um I wouldn't hate that, even though I'm usually against that. I
Mm-hmm.
actually would not hate that because I think there is this really deep well of history in why Liv is going after Rhea that perhaps doesn't exist in the same way for she and Becky. I think she and Becky kind of have these um they're interesting exchanges, but it's also not like I hate your guts. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like WrestleMania is a very nice place, or I guess any pay per view really is kind of, premium live event is a good time to have that kind of blow off of the I really hate your guts.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that exists between Becky and Rhea in the same way that it does between particularly Liv and Rhea. But yeah. What do you think
Yeah,
of all
yeah.
that?
It's more. I think with Rhea and Becky, it's more just I want to be the top.
Right.
I
Yeah.
want to be the top dog. Look, you're not. I want to be the face of the division, and
Right.
that's really it. I mean, sometimes that's fine. You know,
Yeah.
sometimes that's all that's needed is just look. I think I'm better than you, and I want to prove it. Sometimes it's really that
That's
simple.
true.
But yeah, there's definitely more of a storyline if it was Liv and Rhea. The problem is, you know, I mean, it's a lot of risk to put all that on Liv. You know, I
Yeah.
feel like Liv is still learning a little bit. I
Hmm.
feel like she's still growing. I don't feel like she's reached her full potential yet. And part of it is
Hmm.
just injuries. Like
Yeah.
it's tough for her to gain any momentum when she's getting hurt and
Yeah.
arrested. Um, so like when things like that happen, it's hard for her to keep, learning and gaining that momentum. She hasn't been on the mic. She hasn't really been in the ring. So I feel like a lot of that is based on that. But I think still, nonetheless, I think the women stole tonight with that whole promo between Becky and Rhea. I mean, at least for me, that was one of my favorite parts of the night, starting with that. But another thing that has me thinking from tonight that I wanted to talk about too, Gunter and the Intercontinental Championship. So, what is going on? Like, are we getting a ladder match with like multiple people? Are we getting a tournament to lead up to his opponent at WrestleMania? Like,
Oh.
do you have any idea what we're going at right now with Gunter in that title?
Not at all. But a tournament would be a good idea. That I hadn't actually thought of. The kind of I think side dalliance might be like a short Judgment Day situation. Some sort of feud in that, but I honestly don't know where he goes for Mania because I feel like there are this host of choices, and then there's also if we're whatever we're starting, we kind of have to start it, right?
Yeah.
So I do think Sami Zayn is an option.
Mm-hmm.
Um who else did he there was someone else that
Yeah,
he
Sami
kind of
Zayn, Chad Gable threw his
Chad
hat in the
Gable,
ring.
that's what it is.
Yeah,
Yeah,
said it was
that's
about family for him. He
mhm.
said he got clowned in front of his daughter and his family, so
Mhm.
he wants another crack at it. And then obviously, like you said, with the Judgment Day, I just look if this ends with Damian Priest cashing in that briefcase on Gunther, I am look, I'm I might take that week off Monday Night Raw. Like I might have to take that week off because
Yeah.
I will be so upset. Like I
Yeah.
am I was already upset last year with the whole Austin Theory thing, cashing
Mm.
in for the US belt. Like,
Mm.
look, that's not a mid card. I don't like that. It's for a
No.
world title shot. Like,
Yeah.
no.
I
So
agree.
I'm really hoping that's not where they're going.
Yeah.
But I was trying to piece it all together and I landed on tournament. Because like,
I hadn't
Adam
thought of
just
that.
said,
Honestly, that's a good way to go.
yeah, because Adam was what he said with Chad, he's like, you really gave me something to think about. And it's
Mhm.
like, I was like, so how can you have all these people at least earn their shot or at least get a chance at Gunter for the Intercontinental title, other
Mhm.
than just throwing them all in a match or a ladder match? And it's like, just do a tournament. Just do a
Yeah.
tournament, and the winner, King of the Ring, maybe. I don't know. We haven't done that in a while. Maybe do like a
Mm.
King of the Ring for number one contender for Gunter, and the winner gets a shot at WrestleMania. There's 40 days. There's plenty of time to make that happen. So I'm just really looking forward to it. He's made that title so prestigious again. Like
Yes.
I was not a Gunter fan before this title reign. I wasn't, but now compared to when he first
Right.
started, I love Imperium. I love
Yeah.
Gunther and what they're doing. And with what he's did with that belt, he has brought it back to where it once was. I remember growing up in the
Yes.
Attitude Era. Like that
Yes.
belt used to be like when Chris Jericho was holding it, and RVD and all those guys back, Edge back in the day. Like that title at one time was just so huge, and like I feel like we reached that status again. So I'm hoping tournament, fingers crossed.
Yeah,
Give me a
that's a
King
good
of the Ring
idea.
tournament and make it happen. So
Clip
that
this
was
at Triple H. DC Hendricks says
that's right.
we should have a tournament to determine who faces for the Intercontinental Championship at WrestleMania.
That's right.
There you go.
And so what did you think was the best match tonight? So I think Sami Shinsuke was the best match. We didn't have a whole lot of matches tonight, to be quite honest. I know we had,
Yeah.
what did we have? Raquel and Chelsea Green was one.
Mm-hmm.
Watched Chelsea get beat up to shreds.
Mm-hmm.
What else did we have tonight?
You know what mine was Indy Hartwell and Candice LeRae against Zoe Stark and Shayna Baszler.
Yeah.
Because I enjoy, and I think Pat McAfee does as well, enjoy watching Candice LeRae bump all over town. And that is just so fun to me. I also think that the way that some of the folks on the card are also the same from the Elimination Chamber is wild to me, just given like the actual travel and kind of what logistically that might have looked like.
Yeah.
So what did Nia Jax was in a match too, right? Yeah, against
Becky interfered and
against
help Nia win. So
right.
Nia won the match technically, but that's why Liv was so upset. You know, she said,
and all of those
everything
gals,
isn't about you.
Yeah, that's true. All of those gals are doing like a crazy flip of performing back to back in that way. So that match to me was actually fun to continue to build those characters. Oh, it's not a match. I have a favorite backstage moment that I'll hold on to it.
No, go ahead. What was your favorite backstage moment that we haven't did we talk about it yet?
No, but I'm going to need them to actually do something with Regeneration X. Because that is so funny, and I will buy the shirt. I'm here for it. They can say like R-Truth could make a different entirely. What? I do have a whole coat. I'm very cold in the room that I sit in when I write. Sorry, somebody in this chat situation. I do. I have a whole coat.
I wasn't gonna say nothing.
For Regeneration
I'll let the
X,
say that.
Exactly. The besties are observant. I need that to happen. I need Regeneration X to be a thing.
Yes.
R-Truth continues to mistake, in case you're not in with the besties already. R-Truth keeps mistaking Ciampa and Gargano for Triple H and Shawn Michaels, and he kind of just now has decided it's looked like he was breaking up. He really was breaking up with Judgment Day. He's going to be in Regeneration X with DIY and The Miz, who I don't know if you saw, it was one of the last articles was written before I started tonight to write at Wrestle Talk, but it was that The Miz was trapped in somewhere backstage, was locked in a room. So he got out. He was in a backstage segment. That's very good. But yeah, I think that R-Truth continues to be a highlight weekly, and I think that they're actually really slick for moving him along, because I think he builds up and kind of creates this viral moment and this really hilarious addition to a group, and then he can move along. So now he's, instead of doing it with Judgment Day, I genuinely hope that he is starting Regeneration X. I'm here for RX. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. All right. I don't know what the catchphrase is, but when he lets us know what our 2 words are,
that's right.
We'll be yelling it out.
Hey, WWE is proven, once again, that they can nail both like serious wrestling storytelling and going back to their the old days. Remember, like growing up and these goofy storylines, but like at the same time, it's like, look, like we're seeing the genius of R-Truth. That he always has been
right,
this guy, but just letting him roll with this, like it's hidden. It's hidden. Yes. I honestly almost forgot about that because I got so distracted about the great ending to Raw tonight. I was just I was so blown away by Cody beating up 3 guys. So like I completely forgot about it. Yeah, man. Shout out to R-Truth, the star of the show,
Star of
right?
the show. Our
Oh,
truth.
yep.
Hmm.
Regeneration X.
Yes.
I'm starting to build into DIY too. I think I said on here before that I missed their whole NXT era, so like
Mhm.
so I'm still learning them. I'm learning them as if they just started because like I didn't see any of that. So this is all new to me, but I'm enjoying the ride and I'm excited to see where this goes. Do they take the belts eventually? Split them up, something? Like I think we've been preaching
I
that for a
hope
while,
so.
banging
Yes. That's
banging
my
that
hope.
drum for a while. So one thing I will say from tonight, you know, I was a big fan of Drew and Seth. For
Hmm.
me, that was the biggest highlight of tonight. It wasn't like obviously it wasn't a match, so like that doesn't, and it wasn't a backstage segment, but Seth is getting, I mean, he's always been great on the mic, but Seth is like, I'm not sure if anyone's better than him right now on the mic.
Hmm.
I'm not sure because like it's like every week's Seth touches that mic. Like I am so ready for him and Drew at this point. Like honestly, I'm more ready for that match than a lot of other matches for WrestleMania, to be quite honest. Like, and I am legitimately shocked. Well, not really shocked. That's not really the word. I guess intrigued on the outcome because I
Yes.
could see either one. Like Drew McIntyre,
Hmm.
first of all, who as of right now doesn't even have a re-signed contract with WWE. So, like, what is the future of that? Like,
Hmm.
but with this heel work right now, you have to re-sign him. Like Drew is like
So
I
good.
think I seen you tweeted about it earlier tonight.
I
Like
love
heel
it.
Drew is top notch right now.
I love it. It's my favorite. It's my favorite version of Drew because it's also not. It's mean, but it's that kind of mean. Can we swear? Did we ever find out?
I
I
don't know.
forgot
Yeah,
to ask.
we didn't ask that.
But I'm just gonna say.
I
I'm gonna
feel
say
like I've
one
heard
little.
someone swear before.
I'm gonna say a tiny little cuss word. It's that kind of mean that if you've seen some shit in life, you like that kind of humor, right? Like you kind of can go, yeah, that's what's up. And so I do believe that this is an excellent version of Drew. Yes, this is Jeffrey. This is DGAF era
Yes,
Drew. And don't we all maybe need a little DGAF era in our lives?
that's right.
Villain era to some, maybe hero arc to others. It depends on who
Right.
you ask. So that's kind of the line that Drew's walking right now. And I think that those types of characters are always super funny. Um, super funny. Because I
Yes.
also think that it plays into the fact that I like had a lobotomy when CM Punk rolled into WWE. I honestly don't know. My entire perspective changed. I think that's some kind of I don't know what that is. That's to unpack on a different day. But I would say that Drew is doing an excellent job of highlighting some pushback that you may feel if you're a fan who didn't like grab the jug of Kool-Aid and chug them the way that Amanda did, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm positive not everyone did.
Mm-hmm.
But kind of man, like a little bit of that Schadenfreude, like he really is taking a little bit of joy. He's taking quite a bit of joy in misfortune. Um, yeah, I think that makes for a very fun character. I think it could make for a very fun champion, and it could make for a very seamless way for CM Punk to come back.
Yeah,
Um, I don't
that's
know
my
how
thought.
long. I don't know how long triceps is like I don't remember what kind of time frame we're talking. I would almost assume like further down like Money in the Bank. Like we're talking summertime,
Mm-hmm.
if not SummerSlam. Like I'm not exactly sure what the rehab situation looks like for that. Um but I know that like I know that people are freaks of nature. Like I know Charlotte Flair appears to be healing at a superhuman rate. I have no doubt that CM Punk is also doing his very best to rehab at a superhuman rate as well. So we'll see what the future has to hold. But I do think that Drew is so exceptional right now, and I didn't think I'd want I Seth's whole finish this. I mean, Seth's whole story is that he not only wants to go into WrestleMania, but to retain his title. Um, so that's fun because that's one of those. I like it when there's I like the duality of character. I like it when I have very strong feelings of warm regard for both. I mean, I'm not someone that thinks two baby faces or whatever shouldn't be in a match against each other.
Right.
Because I think that right now it's who you're looking at. Because I also know people who just like effing hate Seth Rollins. And I don't really know exactly how that comes to be, but I think he's just not everyone's cup of tea.
Yeah.
So there's like,
just like Becky.
Yeah, it's the same thing. So what match you're looking at really is super subjective. To me, it's like two great stories. Either way, it could be amazing. But I'm sure others have like a very strong feeling of who they would need to see leave Mania with that win. Oh, that's like a main. Oh, there's a lot of main events. How are we gonna have 14 main events? How do you do this? Oh dear.
I mean, I really do think that Rhea Becky or Io Bailey should be the main event. I think, I love Seth Rollins and Drew McIntyre, but there's no way what the women are doing right now.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can sell pyro at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
I've seen it before.
Like, in my opinion, I think the women should be rewarded for how much they have elevated their division. I mean, going back,
it's very true.
I mean, probably before this, but like I really started noticing at War Games because their match was better at War Games, and that was months ago,
right?
And it's like ever since then, they've been stealing the show. Like
that's been true.
The chamber match was better. Rhea Nia stole this. Like, I think they should be rewarded. I think either Becky Rhea should main event night one or Io Bailey. It'll probably be Becky Rhea just because of how big Rhea's gotten, which I'd be fine with that. I mean, as long as they main event. So there's so many great matches, so I'm with it. But with Seth and Drew right now, I do love, like I said, I do love the storyline. I just think, and I'm glad you mentioned CM Punk because I think they're leading to, because Drew is just getting like disrespectful with it. Like, I love that. Like he even did the CM Punk sit in the ring Indian style. Like, when he did that, and the crowd already knew exactly.
Too, like,
they're like, oh no, he didn't. And it's like he's taking it to a whole new level, and I think he is going to win the title. There's no way you can't give this man and what he's doing right now. And I think CM Punk will come back. And I think that's the feud we're going to get. He's going to come back after probably a couple months of Drew holding the belt and then surprise everyone. And we'll probably get it at SummerSlam. I think your timetable was about right. I've played sports, but I've never torn a tricep. I've torn my meniscus a couple of times. So like, and that's longer. That's way longer. So like, I can't imagine, I think SummerSlam is about right. I think you're right on. So I think, boom, I think we get hopefully Drew CM Punk or Seth CM Punk maybe at SummerSlam. But I'm loving that they're teasing that about 6 months. So yeah, spot on. Right. Shout out Amanda Savage on that, and shout out, what was his name? I didn't get to see his name.
I'm so excited about the different names in the chat. Hi, bestie.
Yes, sir. Yep,
Jeffrey's
thank you for
that. Make sure everyone who's here has got.
Yeah, give him a nice pub. But yeah, I love, while we said there wasn't a whole lot that happened tonight, there's pretty much just long-term storytelling. Like we said, ending the show with the bloodline, and it wasn't even the bloodline. It was just Paul Heyman telling Cody to take back his match requests with The Rock or else. And it's like, all right, what are you going to do? And also
why? Okay, hold on. But why?
Yeah.
What are they afraid of?
Yeah.
So, and then he looks all scared and has to call Roman and Rock on 2 phones, which was pretty funny. I did enjoy that. I love a good Paul Heyman visual gag. Like, those are sort of my personal favorite things to collect. So the fact that he's continued this, he's been doing this phone thing for years at this point, because my editor and I talk about the phone thing. We've been obsessed with the phone thing for well over a year. Like, we were obsessed with what the phone case meant.
He quit with that phone too. Like, as soon as something goes down, he don't like, yep.
Or
Paul
when he's
Roman Reigns.
My favorite is when he's in a scene and he holds, so it's like you see him sneakily holding the phone, but it's like, are we gonna get a documentary someday of all this like weird stuff that comes off of this one phone? So now it's two phones because I guess whatever. That was just funny. He was holding two phones and one had a Bloodline case and one had a Rock case. I'm sure they're available at Shop WWE or whatever.com. But yeah, that. What are you afraid of?
Yeah, I
You're
can't.
afraid of
I think
he's
tonight.
the crybaby, but you're afraid of him, and you need your little adorable friend to
Yeah,
come take it
I've been
back.
loving
Like
the
that's
whole phone thing
weird.
for a while. I mean,
I
we'll
don't
see
get it.
where it goes. You know, Cody's saying,
Yeah,
"Look, this time around is different." So
we'll
we'll
see
see
how it
how
goes.
everything plays out. I know Friday I'm a little bit jealous because the Friday night show, the Friday night SmackDown show, they get the Rock coming out, and I'm
Yes.
sure there'll be something going down with that. So I'll be jealous. You guys got to check out the channel on Friday nights as well. They got a great show.
Yes.
And I know they'll be talking a lot about what happens with The Rock coming out. So, but tonight, I think it was just, 3 hours of a little bit of progressing to WrestleMania. I think the main part tonight was just to gain interest for both world title matches, right? With
Mhm.
Rhea and Seth, gain as much
Mhm.
interest in those two matches since those are set now. Gain interest in those,
Mhm.
and Gunter, because he has to have a match, right? It's
Yeah.
WrestleMania, so we got
Yeah.
to do something. And so send those comments in before we get out of here. I know we're getting towards the end of the show, so definitely if you want to get some thoughts in on where you think things are with Monday Night Raw right now with Gunter, who do you think will face him, and who do you think eventually dethrones him? I'd like to
Yeah.
see some. I'd like to see some predictions on that as well from
Yeah.
all our followers. So I think tonight it was just more of a build up and towards Becky Rhea, or if we're getting a triple threat maybe with Liv, we'll see. Seth Drew and teasing CM Punk and still mentioning him right while he's out and keeping him with the fans and keeping him important during these
Mhm.
times. And like I said, Gunther. So for you personally, what out of those storylines that we got tonight, which storyline are you most invested in right now?
Oh, I definitely think I'm still invested in this Cody bloodline thing. I'm just wondering, it's perhaps not necessary on across Raw and SmackDown each week.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might actually be hitting a point where we feel like it's like perhaps tonight felt a little out of place because it just didn't necessarily need to happen. I think
Mm-hmm.
that could have all been accomplished without Paul Heyman.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't he have beat Theory, or it was Waller? And because they had already had a backstage interaction with Roman and Grayson Waller that they showed, I think you kind of could have still gotten that spicy promo from Cody, but without that the middle piece that was felt. I don't ever think there's like, I think everything Paul Heyman does is intentional, so I think that plane maybe lands in the future. There's like perhaps a reason why, but for now, that's still the story I'm most invested in, even though it's the one that I think disappointed me a little bit tonight.
Yeah, I think, and I hate to say this, but it's like, because we don't want to give anything up on our Monday nights, right? But I think it's almost reached the point where it's SmackDown.
Yeah.
Honestly, like, and I get
Very,
it.
yeah.
I mean, because Cody's still technically a Raw superstar, but clearly that whole draft thing has been out of the window. So, like, at this
Mm-hmm.
point, and I think that's why they're having it on both shows to just, I
Yeah.
mean, they're using it to fill the storyline and keep the storyline going. Why not?
Mm-hmm.
But like, in my opinion, I think it's just reached because that belt is on SmackDown.
Yeah.
So it's like, I think it's reached the point where like Raw, like you use, and part of it's the 3 hours too, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you got 3 hours. Cody is still a Raw superstar as of right now, so you have to have him doing something. But
Yeah.
tonight he's slated to go against a SmackDown superstar on Raw, and
Yeah.
then like it's just, I don't know, it felt weird.
It
So
did feel weird.
I think that's why I said I think the easier thing to do is just have him on Friday nights. Like Cody's a SmackDown superstar, and I know that takes away a lot from Raw. Taking Cody
Mm-hmm.
off, that's big. Like, and you almost have to do like a trade or something, right?
Mm-hmm.
like
Yeah.
send us somebody to Raw while Like give us LA Knight or something right now. But
I mean,
so yeah, I think it's just reached that point. But I think for me, while I'm interested in that storyline, I really want to see Rhea Becky. I'm really ready to see not only them two clash and who comes out on top, but I'm also intrigued to see if they make it a triple threat because I want to see people's reaction because there's there's so many people that are like so pro Becky and so pro Liv. It's so funny.
that's true.
I have seen so many crazy things being said
Yeah.
over these last, and it's only been a few days since the Elimination Chamber. Like it's crazy, like that people care that much, and it's like
Right.
I really want to see Becky Rhea right now. While, like I said, while I'm not the biggest Becky fan, she doesn't really do a whole lot for me. I understand at the same time she's big. She's big. Like
Hmm.
it's like how, like you said, with people that don't like Seth Rollins. Like at the same time, though, you gotta put some
Hmm.
respect on that man's name, and I gotta
Yeah.
do the same thing with Becky. Like I gotta put some
Hmm.
respect on her too. So I want to see her and Rhea. Like, and
Hmm.
I know they faced. I think they said 4 years ago. I think they said on Raw tonight that they faced 4 years ago. I don't remember, so I want to see it
Yeah.
because for me, this is my first time, and I'm not going back to watch that because first of all, Rhea from 4 years ago, I'm sure she has grown into a whole new person since then. Because she's only 26, so I imagine 4 years ago, I mean 27, whatever she is, one of
Yeah.
those.
That's
So
wild.
I'm ready. I'm ready to see that match. I think that's the one I'm most invested in. Drew Seth is right there. The only reason I'm not fully invested in that is just because for some reason, while I want Drew to win, I think Seth walks out as champ. And I'm a big Seth guy, but for me, it's just I think they're just doing their best to build up that match as much as they can until we get Seth CM Punk. So for me, that's just a personal opinion. I could be very wrong, but for me right now, it's Becky Rhea. So if anybody has any comments on Monday Night Raw tonight, all your
Just got the
predictions.
deep cuts of history that I didn't know, actually.
Shayna spoiled that match. Rhea wants to right that wrong. Okay.
Okay.
See, and no offense, but Rhea being involved with Shayna Baszler, just think how long ago.
Yeah.
While I like Shayna Baszler, look how different they are now
Hmm.
in stature. Like, so that's my point. I want to see Becky Rhea both at the top of their game right now, both at the top. And to me, it doesn't get much bigger than them two right now. While I like Bailey as well, this feels bigger. It feels bigger, and it's going to be bigger at WrestleMania. So for me, that's the big one. A lot of people are wanting Sami Zayn in some way involved in that match, but now it looks like he'll be in with Gunther. Is there any way, Amanda, before we get out of here? I know we're cutting low on time. Anybody that is in the mix right now for Gunther, do you think any of them have a shot to take his belt? Between Chad Gable getting another shot, he put his name in tonight. Damian Priest, Dom talked a little bit of trash. Sami Zayn, you think any of them have a shot? Not a believer, huh?
I think I mm, I would really want to see it happen, but I also think that, man, we've been, what is it? It's almost 700 days. It was something like, it was
Something like
over
that.
six. It's six something. It's in the higher 600s, I think.
Yeah, because we had the six. We
Um,
were talking about the 600 celebration.
yeah. So I can't imagine.
Yeah, 625 plus days.
There we go. Okay. Woo. So maybe 40. So 40 more to Mania than you're looking at. Okay. I think that a big title change like that ends a historic reign, that kind of smells all like a WrestleMania moment, right? Like that very much seems possible. I don't know who that might be. Although I think 40 days, Jeff mentioned Andrade had that run in with Dom. I wouldn't see, I mean, he did make Chad Gable's daughter cry. I would like to see Chad Gable. I would love to see Chad Gable win. I think that the fans would love it. I think everyone would go crazy. It would also sort of be like an America moment.
Mhm.
And I think WWE loves that as well. And at Mania, that would be superb. So I could see it happening. I just also could see Gunther continuing to hold that title for like another year. You know what I mean? Like I don't see an end in sight. And you know what's crazy is I'm not sick of him at all.
No, I
Not
thought I
even a
would be
little
because
bit.
definitely 600 days. I was definitely tired of Roman.
Yeah.
So that
Yeah.
tells
This
you
isn't even a little bit tired. I feel like
no.
we haven't even scratched the surface. I feel like he hasn't even been in the biggest feuds for him yet.
Yeah.
And I think the way that they've built up that title, it wouldn't stress me out to see Randy Orton chasing him.
Mm,
It wouldn't surprise me to see AJ Styles chasing him. I mean, it
mm.
wouldn't surprise me to have these people that you maybe would consider like a more top level world champion star. I think that the Intercontinental Championship has gotten to that level again. I mean, I'm not good with, that's not my flavor of neurodivergence. So I'm not very good with like exact dates and things. But to me, Triple H was my Intercontinental Champion when I
Mm.
was a young one. I don't know
Was he
how
even
long that
Triple H
was.
then? Didn't he go by the other name?
Huh?
Didn't he? I
Oh,
think he had.
let's Google it. I don't know, but I
Yeah,
thought he
I
had
don't
it.
think he was Triple H then.
He wasn't?
That's taking it back to the day.
Did he never have it as Triple H? Are you telling me this? Perhaps I'm
Yeah.
completely bizarre and I'm off kilter. Who am I thinking of then?
Yeah.
I don't know.
He was Intercontinental champ, but it was like early.
Only
I think he
early?
went by Hunter Helmsley.
Just only when he was Hunter Hearst Helmsley. I did love that too. That
Yeah.
was
So like that's taking
when
it.
he was
Hey.
besties with William Regal and they had like
Oh,
the
whoa.
cutter wig
Yeah.
style outfits together. He did both. Tell me, Jeff. Did he ever have it in the 90s though? Who had it a lot in the 90s? Why do I think that it was
Shawn
Triple
Michaels
H?
is a name that comes to mind. Razor Ramon.
You know, besties, I'll learn my facts better.
Yeah.
That's why.
Razor Ramon comes to mind first,
That's true.
honestly. But yeah, I think I'm with you. I think that title's been built up so much. My only problem is at the same time, I'm ready for him to chase the heavyweight belt. Because
That's
like
true.
he's just
Yeah,
gotten so big now. It's like I don't know how he's gonna lose it. Who's left to beat?
that's very
Like
true.
honestly, like at this point, who does he so like, I can't see Sami Zayn beating him. But the reason I did like tonight, and I keep getting my hopes up with this, and I think you mentioned this too, is if it's a tournament, is Sheamus ready yet?
Right.
Is Sheamus ready?
Where is Seamus?
Hmm. Do we get Sheamus in this match or tournament, whatever we're getting? I don't know what it is yet.
I would like
We're
that.
just spitballing here, right?
Hmm.
But definitely a lot of big storylines tonight to look forward to. Slamchats.com. Support us. We work hard for you watching Monday nights and sticking along with this 3-hour show that sometimes drags like tonight. It was one of those shows where I was like, man, whew, it was a long 3 hours tonight, but they did really good on like bringing us back in, right? When it was starting to get like
Yeah.
they like, do like the scene with R-Truth to get us laughing again, and
Yeah.
things like that to get us, and then like Liv and Becky backstage, like little stuff like that get you back in. So they did do good with that. But slamchats.com definitely support not only just us but everyone else that works hard at bodyslam.net. But before we get out of here, each and every Monday night we end the show with the word from Amanda Savage for all you besties.
Oh, besties. Thanks for joining us. Keep on keeping on, besties.
That's
You
right.
can do it. You've got a friend here in us. I'm probably not the best person to be giving pep talks right now, but you can do what I'm doing, which is just keep swimming. That's
That's
all.
right.
We'll see you next week.
We'll see you next week. Keep swimming, keep grinding, and
Yes,
we'll be back at it next Monday night. Appreciate everybody. Keep the comments rolling in. We check them even
we
after it's
do.
posted. We check all comments, so keep them
Yes.
rolling in even after the video. Share them and let other people know about our Monday night show. Monday Night Besties.
Thanks, besties. Have a
We're
good
out.
week. We'll see you later.
Have a
Bye.
great week.